Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got game 2 of our second best of 3 for the inaugural underway. Titan versus MiTH Trust. Titan taking a convincing win in game number 1. We'll see if they can make it a 2-0 or if MiTH Trust can move us into an ace match, gods.
Titan looking good. They want to make that claim that they're the best team in Southeast Asia, and I wasn't convinced of it, but I'd say over the last week or so they've done a pretty good job to kind of reaffirm that and make me have some more faith in them.
They've been playing very well. They performed pretty well in WPC, where they had the gauntlet right before I went to PAX, where they played against pretty much everyone, and they did okay. Kind of mixed results. DK with a bunch of stand-ins, but I'm quickly becoming a Titan fan. I like the way that they play.
They're fun to watch. They got some exciting players. Ahayo is probably my favorite Southeast Asian player at the moment.
Yeah, I hope we get to see Net on Sand King this game, because it's a treat. He's like sort of like how Ohio plays Nature's Prophet a little differently than most others. Net plays that Sand King a little bit differently than most others, and I found it to be a treat to watch. So that was one of those. Roland gave me the heads up when I first cast a Titan. Net on Sand King, it's pretty good. Look out for it. And the first game, I'm just like, this guy's next level on Sand King.
Well, I'll give the thumbs up to the KYXY Invoker, and that's what we've got here in game 2.
Yeah, here we go. Let's hop into the draft. That was a first pick Invoke, you're right. Centaur Naga banned out by Titan, and Lycan Batrider banned out by MiTH Trust. Opens up for the Invoker, and Titan will be happy to scoop him up.
Yeah, absolutely. KYXY plays a pretty main Invoker. Sometimes it puts Yamate over onto the safe lane farming role, but it doesn't bother Titan too much. Yamate's played the carry role in the past. They can do that just fine. And we'll see exactly what Titan will do. And at the same time, sometimes they're on the safe lane farming Invoker, like the Exort, the MiTH Necrobook build. They're pretty flexible, and I think if they want to try and do a similar thing where they punish MiTH Trust weak early game, which they often go for, going for a safe lane Exort Invoker into a push strat with Necrobooks is a good way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's really not safe to assume that Quas Wex is the way Invokers will go in our current meta. I think Quas Wex is a little bit stronger than Exort overall, but Exort is still really good. And it's sort of like how we were talking about Batrider, where he gets nerfed, everyone overreacts, and you realize, wait, he's still really good. Exort fell into sort of a similar trap. It was overpowered. They kind of Ice Frog nerfed it, kind of leveled it out, and it was like, oh, it's garbage. It's all Quas Wex. Now we're realizing, wait a second. It's Forged Spirits with Necro units with the Basilius is actually still really good. And they still hit hard. They still reduce your armor. And
it's two very different styles of play. Like I don't think it's kind of like apples and oranges. You can't really compare them. Quas Wex is much better teamfight control and just general lockdown and just limiting your opponent's ability to use spells through the MP. With Exort, it's entirely damage output as well as pushing power, which I mean, later on, it also gives you good teamfight. Like I think both give you teamfight. Exort in the sense that you have the Meteor plus Deafening Blast for a good AoE burst damage.
Right.
But then the pushing power's there. For Quas Wex, it's much more just defensive-based control.
Yeah. I think Quas Wex is a little bit harder to deal with, almost. Like
I'd agree.
A tornado that's...
Exort, you know it's coming your way.
Yeah, you know, you can kind of like, okay, Sunstrike, we'll try and juke here and there or what have you, but EMP Tornado, especially against a good Invoker, you know, you get caught in the tornado and say goodbye to your mana pool, and then after that, it's a pretty easy follow-up, and some cold snaps mixed in there, so... Either way, it will be a Rubik second pick for Titan. And where's Nyx Assassin been today? We'll see him second picked here by MiTH Trust, but is this the first time we've seen a Nyx in our 5 games that, or about 4 games prior? This is our 5th.
First time today.
Yeah.
He's still a fairly picked hero, though, so... I don't think it's a surprise that he's gone missing. I don't think it's a surprise that he's picked up here. He's just like he fits most lineups. He's just, I don't know. Reminds me of something like a Mirana. Like, you go a day without Mirana picks, you just think nothing of it. You go a day with Mirana in every game, you don't think much of it, just because it's a good all-around hero.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
I just see it like okay, he's good, can off-lane, can
Spiked Carapace, man. That's where it's all about. That's what it's all about. Especially against Centaur. When I was casting with Lysander last night, he was like, worst case scenario, you double edge onto a Spike Carapace and take double damage. And I was just like, you know...
Does that actually work?
Yeah, according to Lysander, I've never seen somebody be foolish enough to try it. But I keep finding all these little things where I'm like, Spike Carapace is a good ability, but there were a few like really clutch. If you can get it off, it's like, damn, Nyx Assassin is devastating. I've been wanting to see somebody fall into that trap.
That sounds hilarious.
That is a lot of damage. It's like 800 self-damage.
And the thing is, like, you can make him do that because even if he's not targeting you, Double Edge is AoE. So if you just stand next to the hero who's and Carapace up,
if I've seen it happen before, it didn't click in my mind, and I didn't register it. But now I've been keeping an eye out for it. Unfortunately, we won't see it here because Centaur was banned. But
MiTH Trust go with a much more standard MiTH Trust draft. They get a true carry for Lakells. It's his best, most trademark hero. It's going to be the Morphling.
Okay. So yeah. So last game, Morphling looked really, really powerful in that last game because of how much they dominated that early lane. They had that early rotation. They killed the Centaur who was in the off lane. They knocked down that tower. Morphling didn't get the kill, nor did he get the tower kill, but so that boost in gold. He had like a 12-minute Lincoln. And that's when Morphling looks really powerful. Now, if Titan put pressure on this Morphling and they're not able to knock down towers, it'll take him a little bit longer to come online. And we'll see how it works. Morphling, I still think overall is a little bit weak, but definitely a high skill cap hero. And for those players that are really comfortable on Morphling, good with the replicates and all that stuff, he can still be pretty devastating.
And Titan get a hero that can look to punish him later on, which is going to be the line. Instead of the Sanking, it gives you a bit more burst damage. Sanking was there for net, but he also plays line the same way he plays Sanking. Just lurks around in the trees once he has that Blink Dagger, waits for the pickoffs, and a hero like Morphling, you never know if you're really safe. So I think it's a good hero to put net on, and I think it counters the Morphling a little bit better. The Mana Drain can instantly KO his replicates if he's trying to use those in fights. So lots of good ways to use Lion.
Yeah, Lion's just an all-around solid hero. He's I think still a slightly underrated support. Teams have been running him a lot more than they were maybe, say, a month and a half ago. But just all around, like you said, he can kill illusions, but he's just got so many crowd controls. You blink forward and have that instant hex. It's a pretty darn powerful initiation tool. So
MiTH Trust get the Sanking once again. Yeah. They run similar drafts like so often. Apart from like the Wisp CK was obviously a bit different, but they always keep that core idea of let's make sure our 2 or 3 non-carries are big teamfight heroes. So they get a Nyx, a Sanking, Morphling's going to be their carry, and then you just need some kind of mid-tempo controller for Arbor.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
Puck could be a pretty good option here for MiTH Trust. I reckon that Titan may be looking to ban the Fairy Dragon out with their 5th ban, but would fit well into this MiTH Trust roster, that's for sure. Nice tempo controller, some burst damage.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
A little squishy.
Like I'm thinking like Puck versus Storm Spirit. Like which would you rather have? Like Storm Spirit's maybe a bit better for long range initiation, but Puck's probably less farm dependent.
Yeah. But at the same time, the Storm Spirit scales a little better with items. So if they anticipate the game to go long, then having a Storm Spirit Morphling give them a big carry advantage, kind of pending what Titan pick right here. So I guess some of it will hinge on this 4th pick. And whoa, the Bounty Hunter. Interesting.
You can see this hero picked up all too often. He was actually picked up in one of the Starlighter LAN games. It was picked up by Admiral Bulldog against DK in the Alliance DK series.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the only time I've seen Bounty Hunter at all recently has been Bulldog, and the 2 times I've seen it within the past 3 weeks-ish is he's just been using it to deal with Chen. Anytime a Chen is picked up, or sometimes when a Chen is picked up on the opposition, he'll go Bounty Hunter, and he will just play the I'm going to follow you around, I'm going to snipe your last hit, steal your experience, and just make your life living hell. And he's one of those players that makes that strategy look easy, but it's pretty darn hard. Because if you get picked off once, then you just end up being this underfarm bounty hunter that's running around in the jungle. So
and it's especially interesting because the higher Nature's Prophet was there if they wanted the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
They first picked this hero game 1, game 2 they decide they don't want it. It's decent with the Invoker in your team. I guess it gives you 2 heroes neither with much lockdown, neither with much initiation or utility. At the same time, Bounty Hunter also fits that category. He hasn't got lockdown. He's much less farm dependent, which is, I guess, the big thing is here is they want to run Invoker either mid or safe lane and get another farming hero, so they want an offlaner who doesn't need farm. If they went for a greedy 3-core lineup, then MiTH Trust have the better teamfight lineup into carry Morphling. So Titan say, we'll get a Bounty Hunter who doesn't need farm. This hero just needs levels, gets a track up, gets kills, and then they'll get probably one last carry or mid hero to help take these mid to early game fights.
Yeah, so MiTH Trust opt for a 5th pick, Death Prophet, and she will work well with that team fight kind of synergy that you were talking about with the Exorcism and also the huge AoE silence, and also a lot of pushing power between the Exorcism and the Rasta wards. I'll be able to knock some towers down, which is pretty good for Morphling, get him a little bit of extra gold to help carry him through that early game when he's trying to farm with those core items. I'm gonna be very curious to see what Titan pick here. And whoa, whoa!
I like it. Anti-Mage is such a great hero to go against these super teamfight AoE combos because you just never teamfight. I think it's a really smart pick. And then this may lead towards a Quaswex Invoker. Normally,
I think it almost has to be at this.
Normally,
point.
it's been Exort from Titan. When they've ran the Invoker, like every time we saw them run this in WPC, it was almost always the Exort Invoker. But with Anti-Mage on your team, maybe going to see a Quaswex. At the same time, you don't have much damage output from Bounty Hunter, from anyone else. If you think you're lacking damage output, maybe you still go Exort. But I think Quaswex for the teamfight control is a good way to play it.
Teamfight control, and just so that you can just create some space to your anti-mage. Let farm, you have a way to kind of delay these pushes a little bit, isolate members, and Even EMP is just so good for repelling pushes. It makes it so hard for you to commit to
10
towers when you don't
seconds
have any mana.
remaining.
But conversely, on the side of MiTH, at least they have Death Prophet and Shadow
5
Shaman, so if they come in,
seconds remaining.
you know, drop the wards, use the Exorcism, if they lose their mana after those big abilities have already been burned, then so be it. Not the end of the world. But very interesting draft, and see how it works. Once again, Titan is up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. This is our last series of the day here for our inaugural coverage. So Titan just one game away from sealing the deal. We will have Titan on the dire side. KYXY will be up top in the position 1 hard carry anti-mage. Extinct on the support. Rubik headed to the top lane. Net will be playing on Lion, one of his signature heroes, also up top. NWP, aka Yamate, on the solo mid invoker. First point in Quas, and it will be an off-lane bounty hunter played by Ohio. No big surprise there. Boots first, plenty of regeneration, and a couple of wards to play around with as well.
Well, for the Radiant team, it will be MiTH Trust, being somewhat scattered out here by the Ohio Bounty Hunter. We're going to see TNK playing a support, Shadow Shaman, Lakel's on his Morphling, Boombell on the Sand King once again. Mid lane will be Arbor on the Death Prophet, and finally, off lane by Gobjibi playing the next Assassin. So, big thing for me, Yamate Action Invoker. I gave KYXY's Invoker the thumbs up. Have not seen a Yamate Invoker. Maybe he can he can play the Quas Wex one, which is probably what he's going to do with the Quas level 1. But this is probably not a hero he's as comfortable with as KYXY. But at the same time, I think KYXY is much more suited to the anti-mage. So I think this is the right way to lane things here.
Yeah.
And just give, depending on who's playing what.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Yamate Invoker like you were talking about, and just
Quas Wex is much easier to play than Exort. Not to say you need to give Yamate an easier way of playing the hero, but because it's a hero he doesn't play very often, it makes sense that like you're giving it to him if you're going Quas Wex for with the anti-mage.
Yeah, a little less micro-intensive since you don't have the Forge Spirits, and also Sunstrike is not the hardest ability to use, but it does it's funky. It's just different. It's very unique. So
even like the Chaos
practice.
Media Tornado type combos, like that, those are the kind of the trickier things to do.
Yeah, and certainly within the skill set of this this notorious player, but practice makes perfect, as they say. But further evidence that Yamate, like I was talking about, he is one of the most versatile players in the scene, at least in my opinion, with how many heroes he can play and to a pretty masterful level of execution. Oh, wow.
They plopped it down. They're just out of range. They were unsure where it is. They're going to use both sentries here, maybe?
It's about as close as it gets.
This one... Oh, no. They've missed both.
Oh, God.
They're going to Tango and 3 and every...
That's awful.
Yeah, that's really awful. The recent spot that teams have been using is like this spot here, which this sentry ward does scout out, but I've not seen this block being used at all. And this is like one of those random wards that rarely gets used to block the pull, and it's just
actually, if that little spot that you pinged out here actually might not have gotten clipped by the ward they put down as well.
It would have got clipped by the bottom one though.
Okay,
that's the main thing. They were putting this sentry ward here for the spot along here. Like this line right here is where it's often planted.
Okay, I see. I gotcha.
I've never seen this block come out, and that's like it's completely blindsided MiTH. TNK is still looping around, doing like figure 8s through the trees.
Yeah, desperately trying to find this ward. That's really unfortunate. And Bounty Hunter already moving around. He's level 2, rotating towards this mid lane, and just kind of cruising around, looking for opportunities to find some experience. And like you mentioned, early game Bounty Hunter is not about farm. It's about getting those levels, hitting level 6, and then start trying to rack up the track gold and supporting the team.
And just getting good intel for your team to know what's going on with your opponent's supports, when they're ganking, when they're doing what. He hasn't scouted out this gank just yet. They're smoke ganking towards mid lane, it looks like. If he goes in the jungle, he'll figure it out soon enough, and he's actually heading towards mid, so he may scout them out using the invis, and they've got no sentries, no dust for him.
Yeah, level 1 Shadow Shaman, only Shackles right now, and Sand King about to hit level 2, of course, does have Burrow Strike up. Good positioning from Yamate, recognizing supports are missing. We'll stay on the south end of the tower, and won't make an easy opening for them here. The smoke has been revealed. They'll just station about the high ground.
This is not going to work. There's like no way this works.
Yeah, they're committing a lot of time to this.
Burrow Strike is a 350 range initiation. Shackles is a really short range initiation. Not to mention Yamate is going to hit level 4 and he's going to have Ghost Walk.
Yeah.
They're going for a flank here. This is like a big all-in play. There we go. Yamate's level 4. He's going to Cold Snap Arbor under the tower. If he wants to, he can just Ghost Walk. He'll do that. Easy escape from Yamate. TP's coming in now. He's going to come out of the Ghost Walk. Boombell taking a lot of damage. The Shackles is there and Lion shows up, but I think that was a bit weird. Like Titan played that a bit sloppy. They were never in any danger of losing Yamate, but the TP was a bit of a waste.
Yeah.
Yamate also just preemptively used the Cold Snap as well, but it wasn't the most efficient use of their mana and their TP. But end of the day, it's it's a bigger waste for MiTH than what it was for Titan.
For sure, yeah, by a pretty big margin. Just again, all around great positioning from Yamate there through that point in Wex, and very calm, knew exactly what his limits were, and did just fine. KYXY doing pretty well here in the safe lane for Titan, 14 and 6 compared to the 20 and 11 Morphling. So we will actually see Lakelz pull ahead in the last hits, but
he's had much more of an empty lane.
Yeah,
right? We talked about the bounty hunter moving around, creating space,
and even when he's in lane, he's just running around in Shadow Walk. So he's still not really doing too much.
Detection for bounty still, not to mention the Invoker. They need to bring out.
That's because they wasted all their sentries trying to counter ward.
They bring out this dust now, and I feel they need to get a first blood on the bounty hunter with this dust.
And maybe they can do it. They still don't really have eyes on Ohio, though. I mean, they can probably assume that he's inbound around the lane, but
getting out the 4-minute rune.
Yeah, you don't really want to just burn a dust willy-nilly at this point when you only have 2 at your disposal. And if they can catch him and make a kill, it'll be great. But Ohio not making it easy for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, maybe come in. Takes the last hit now, but the support's not really in position for this, so... They've got a smoke. I think this is a new smoke as well. They already used the one towards mid lane. They pick up another. Ohio going to scout him out. He'll see the dust if he clicked the Shadow Shaman. Yeah, he definitely has clicked the Shadow Shaman by now, saw this dust, and knows that he has to be playing carefully.
Death Prophet in trouble in the mid. Hex, Impale, double damage on the Rubik. I think they'll have enough for this kill. There's the Cold Snap. There's your first blood, and it's going to be Yamate to pick it up. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Ohio perhaps in a bit of trouble, or perhaps not. There's the dust. He's already Shadow Walked. We'll take a Burrow Strike here. Might be able to get denied from the neutrals, just moving into the trees. Neutrals do some work. No, if it'll be Shadow Shaman that grabs the kill, but...
I think he could have ran. I don't think he was dead there.
Yeah, I was
He had boots. They did not. After he got dusted, I think he just assumed, okay, I'm dead. Let's suicide to neutrals.
But
a suicide to neutrals to just heal yourself back up and come back out is fine, but he could have just outran them and then maybe gone and suicided like over to this big camp on the far left or something, just somewhere where they don't get the kill, because they had, after that second Burrow Strike, they had no Ether Shock, no... I think he assumed that there was going to be an Ether Shock from TNK, because he only just gets his first point now at level 3.
Yeah, maybe a minor misplay, but still, Yamate kind of bails him out a little bit. They secure that first blood in the mid lane and capitalize on Death Prophet just being pretty susceptible early on to ganks. Rubik also had a double damage rune that he picked up at the 4-minute mark. So, well, the 4-minute rune that he grabbed. So that made the gank a little bit easier. And, well, all tied up 1-1, but Titan have a small lead to get things going here. It's about 250 golden experience.
Both offlaners getting decent experience, neither getting that much farm, and MiTH rush from Lakelz. He's got this 6 minutes in the game, so already using his first one there, and
pretty timely.
I won't see Antimate's going for the MiTH. He'll just rush the Battle Fury, which you'd expect. MiTH does not... Antimate is one of the few heroes where MiTH does not actually accelerate your farm, in my opinion. Like, I don't know the maths, but I feel like you want the Battle Fury up. That's what accelerates your farm more than the MiTH does.
Yeah. What do you think about like the MiTH Battle Fury build on Void that we've been seeing pop up here and there?
I think it's okay. I think the MiTH on Void's good, but I don't like... I think the Battle Fury just isn't that good on Void like it used to be. It used to be like your main go-to damage item, but with recent buffs, to Mask of Madness, to Maelstrom, I think these kind of items are just better on Void.
Yeah. So, ooh, down bottom, Ohio could be in some trouble. They will burn this this dust. Burrow Strike, Hex from the Shadow Shaman, and he'll actually get shackled up here as well. There's a waveform forward, and Lakelz will secure that one. So, make it 2-1. And
not much more he could do there. He only just got caught by the dust. That dust range is not that massive, so if he manages to avoid the dust, he lives. But the edge of it, I think, just clipping him.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit unlucky, but still a nice gank from MiTH and shutting down that bounty hunter, but also getting their Morphling nice and fat.
That's okay. I think it's... They're not, I don't think they've actually really shut down the bounty hunter. He's still level 5. What the kills have done is just got Morphling, more farm and more space in this mid lane for farm.
That'll be a dead Nyx Assassin. You know, both teams executing the pretty much exact same strategy here. Two ganker-style supports just roaming around and picking off the offlaner. Rinse and repeat, and that'll tie it up once again. So Titan are right there with the response.
Yeah. And looking at both offlaners, even like 2 deaths on bounty hunter, it's not the end of the world. Another attempted kill on this Death Prophet, who's now going to look to run to the high ground. Ohio has no track, but Alba's got nowhere to run. He's trying to bottle up. There's your telekinesis, and that's a big kill here. The thing is, Titan are losing their offlaner, a bounty hunter, but he's so expendable. He doesn't matter. Meanwhile, MiTH have lost Death Prophet now twice, and that's a hero who does need farm, does need levels, does need a lot of space.
Yeah. And, you know, Nyx Assassin, a hero that he needs farm, and sort of that same thing is true, but Death Prophet in particular, she really does not recover well. Her whole strategy is based around surviving Exorcism, tanking up a bit, and she can do that well if she's a level or two up against the opposition, but if she's a level behind, or maybe even more than that, things can get pretty scary pretty quick. Invoker will find himself a free kill in the mid lane on the Shadow Shaman, just a classic EMP, Tornado, Cold Snap combo, and secures the kill. Abba ports in, but can't get a counter kill, and ultimately will just go back to farming. So Yamate, he's starting to snowball a little bit. He is 2-0-1 on this Invoker, almost level 9, and he's going for a fast Orchid. First Oblivion Staff already complete here at the 8.5-minute mark, following phase boots.
Yeah, looking really good for Titan, I'd say. Even with the Morphling's free farming away, but that's always what you expect from a safe lane, tri lane Morphling against almost any offlane here. And Bounty Hunter especially, little he can do there, but he's going to come into play now. He's hit level 6. He's got track. He can come look to help out these other lanes. He'll probably head home to heal himself up first and then look to move on out to some of these other lanes. But with Bounty Hunter and Invoker, they can go get kills on almost anyone at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Rubik, level 5. Just taking a look at the level chart. The supports are pretty even. We see, yep, 2 are level 4 and 2 are level 5. So even across the board on that front. And how are we looking on net worth in terms of the leading carries here? Morphling about 4 or 5. I can't do math. About 600 or 700 net worth
it's
up
no big deal
on the anti-mage. But yeah, it's mostly just because Hand of MiTH comes in that inventory a little bit earlier than the Battle Fury. So I'm sure it will level out as this game continues. In the mid lane, that'll be a dead Shadow Shaman. Once again, the Invoker just dropping the combo and not much the Rasta can do. But meanwhile, down bottom, MiTH Trust will pop the Exorcism and pressure the bottom tier 1.
I don't... Defending this is going to be tricky because Titan just used their Invoker combo mid. He doesn't have a TP. Anti-Mage can TP in, but he does not want to be TPing in to try and defend a tower. That's going to go down regardless. So they give up a tier 1. They're happy to do that. It's Bounty Hunter now moving around. He's going to smoke up with Lion. Not going to be on top of a ward here. And this is with track on Lion. He's got Dust as well, so they can scout out the Vendetta. Not that he's even level 6. Not that he's even got a way out of this one. He's out of mana. Easy kill for a high, or at least it should be. Pops his magic wand. There's going to be a Burrow Strike. Boombell with the counter initiation. In goes your Anti-Mage Impel into the Nyx. That's another kill. There's your Dust on Boombell. He's got no escape, and only 1 track kill, unfortunately. They didn't get the second hero tracked up, but still, 1 track kill is fantastic for him.
1 track kill, and Anti-Mage was the one that actually got the last hit on the track kill. So plenty of gold going his way, and I think they'll settle for a 2-0. And, well, now they can pressure this tower a little bit.
Here comes the Shadow Shaman, TNK towards top. TP out from Lion. KOXO has Blink and a TP, and it looks like he's going to TP all the way home, in fact.
Yep, and he'll just go ahead and pick up another TP scroll and then head back to lane. He can grab that Perseverance, and we'll have a pretty well-timed Battle Fury, it looks like. Won't be the fastest Battle Fury timing, as he did opt for the Power Treads first item. Well, he grabbed the Ring of Health, but Power Treads before the Battle Fury. So we'll slow down his timing, but gives him a little bit more utility here in the early game and lets him kind of get involved in little skirmishes like that and feel a bit more safe hopping in, doing some damage, and shred swapping to tank up when necessary. We'll see another smoke from MiTH Trust.
From the high ground there.
Oh, and they actually burn a Dust on this as well. They thought it was the Bounty Hunter that revealed them. And, well, they'll secure the kill on net, but they do unfortunately waste the Dust there.
That's understandable, because he revealed them from the high ground, and they're thinking, like, if we get revealed from smoke, it's because Bounty Hunter scouted us out. So instant Dust is actually a really good response. Like, that was, it looks like, oh, they wasted Dust, but that was actually a really smart response from MiTH Trust. They just didn't have the info that we have.
Right.
As casters. We're like, what are you guys doing? But no. That was really clever, and they were really fast to react with it. It was like half a second after the Dust where he comes to the logo and they're like, oh, it's a Lion, but
yeah. I mean, it's not that much. It's one of those, even though you wasted like 90 gold worth of Dust, it's worth it for that kind of expected value of if Bounty Hunter is nearby, that's a kill. So you're right. I'll strike it from the record. I take back what I said. MiTH Trust, well done. But,
they're getting more tracks off now, so Abba gets scouted, getting the Illusion Rune. Back towards mid lane he goes, and Anti-Mage wants his tier 1 top tower, and I think he's maybe going to get it. Nyx and tanking in nearby, but with the Glyph they may be able to contest.
Yep, they do force out the Glyph here, and there will be a rotation in, keeping eyeing the tower out of deny range for now. Ohio coming around the backside. He is Shadow walked up, and he does have a Dust available. So Nyx Assassin, of course, is level 6, just about to have Vendetta.
Yeah, they're pinging. No, that's Titan pinging it.
Yep.
It was very close to them when he went into that invis, but they don't spot him out.
They just want this Sand King, and they can kill him here.
Yeah.
If they dive this tower with a creep wave.
Yeah, they're pinging this. He goes invis well in the trees this time around, and he sees Nyx as well, Sand King. They have a Dust here. That would be some next level Sixth Sense if they do go for that, and we'll see a higher probably pop a track and maybe go on the Sand King here.
Yeah. There's the Vendetta coming out.
They saw him come out of Invis this time around. Oh, he tracked. Okay, he tracked the Sand King. That's why.
Dust coming. So both sides actually playing this rather passively.
I think for a Titan, they couldn't go any more aggressive. They didn't have a creep wave at the tower, so they had to play that very safe. And
well, Anti-Mage is still just farming away, so I'm sure he's not complaining. Very close to that Battle Fury now. Less than 1,000 gold off the mark. So that's when his farm will really start to skyrocket, and he's got some stacks that he can come back to. This hard camp is stacked up, and actually this hard camp over here has a nice double stack. So his supports have been doing some work for him, and once he grabs that Battle Fury, we'll see that farm just jump out of control. No Ancient stacks quite yet, but that's A-okay for Titan. There's still plenty of time to start stacking up those Ancients.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the plan is going to be. Yeah, it's 7 kills to 3 for Titan, but it's a pretty even game so far. Less than 1k gold lead either way. 2k experience lead for Titan, which is coming from most of their kills. They are looking to find some pick-off at top lane, but...
Ooh, Orchid on the Invoker. That's a big item pickup here at the 14-minute mark.
He can just go around in that Ghost Walk and try find pickups. He's gone for the slightly an unorthodox Quasi-Wex build. Normally you'd have like 5-6 points in Wex by now, just because it gives you such good movement speed in Ghost Walk, and you go around setting up kills. So I think he doesn't need all these, like one less point in Quas, the point in Exort, and also he's gone 2 Invoke early on. Normally you don't see 2 points in Invoke this fast, so I think it goes to show is that Yamete not used to playing Invoker, because he's gone for a kind of rare Invoker build, mostly because I don't think it's the most efficient one, but either way, he's played fantastic on Invoker, even if he doesn't know like the best build to go, or whatever it may be.
Right. And that's showing some of that that personal skill right there. In the mid lane, we'll see a port coming in from the Morph lane to try and deal with KYXY, pressuring that tower. And Titan do defend the top tier 1. Rasta wards came down, but they were able to clean them up, and the supports got a little bit of extra farm coming their way, and they keep the tower still out of deny range, but they do keep it alive.
They want to kill this Morphling mid. With the Orchid, it's feasible. Orchid plus track here. Death Prophet's nearby, though. They're going with the track and Orchid, and the EMP. Is there enough damage? The Impel going to be on the mark. Lakel's taking a lot of damage. He survives in about 20 HP. That was very close to bursting him down. They just need like one more right click on top of that.
Yeah, that Shadow Burn, so close, but...
top tower is under attack.
Oh, poor guy.
If he had Max Rook in there, not that there's any... I mean, this Bounty Hunter build is perfectly reasonable, like what you'd expect, but just didn't quite have the damage output. Meanwhile, top lane, they get a T1 tower. That's actually picked up by Net. I think Lion King the tower is fine, because he actually really needs a Blink Dagger at this stage of the game.
Yeah, essentially what happened there is they traded their Bounty Hunter for that top tier 1 tower. So
yeah,
could have been a little bit worse. Certainly could have been better for Titan, but I think they'll be all right with it. That's the Battle Fury now complete for the Anti-Mage, right around the 16-minute mark. Not too shabby. He is level 11, so that level 2 Mana Void coming into play as well. How's our Radiant side doing in terms of item pickups? Morphling working towards the Lincolns and not too far off the mark, about 200 or so. Till he has that first core item, has the rest of the pieces, and Death Prophet going for the mech. And actually, does she have it? Looks like the recipe might be on the courier. Yep, certainly is. So
Death Prophet runs into them here. They're both teams invis up. Stolen Vendetta and a Ghost Walk. There we go. They see Arbor? No, they run past him. They don't. They see the courier though. Vendetta kit that. The dead courier extinct. Oh, he goes for the kill on Arbor instead. I thought he would snipe the courier there. He should have gone for the courier snipe.
Yeah.
I think they can get the kill and the courier because he has.
Agreed.
I think he one-shots that courier with the Vendetta damage.
If it's not a one-shot, it's an easy two-shot.
Yeah.
So
if it's two-shot, it may have been a bit tricky to get because it can just fog and buy time. But yeah, I guess he wants to ensure the kill on the Death Prophet because that's a track kill. End of the day, getting a track kill there, shutting down the Death Prophet further is probably worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, they played it safe, but I mean, it was still the courier came in handy because I don't know if they would have turned around the way they did if they didn't see the courier coming in there. You can sort of read that. Well, that courier's going somewhere. It's not scouting out Roche, so there might be somebody at that bottom rune. And I will see Anti-Mage put out these double stacks, but Titan had another one to the scoreboard, and now that the Battle Fury is out, about a 4,000 gold lead, 4,500, 5,000 experience lead for Titan, and they're starting to really pick up momentum here. Invoker with his Staff of Wizardry, probably grabbing the 4th staff next. And Bounty Hunter working towards drums, but he's starting to get a little bit of farm himself. There's the Vlad's out on the Anti-Mage already. Important for Morphling, he has this Lincoln's here, because this makes it so that he can't be solo picked up by the Invoker too easily. Invoker's going to run into him. We'll have to immediately. He hits him with the Ghost Walk and immediate replicate out from Lakel's. He's not messing around. Yeah. And they realized that he was there. The thing is, for Yamete to actually go on him, he's got to use a Cold Snap or maybe a Shuriken from the Bounty Hunter, and then you
awkward. But then you're missing out on damage. Then you don't have a Cold Snap or you don't have the Shuriken damage. So unless they have a third hero, I don't think they kill him.
Yeah, I think Invoker needs that Force Staff before he has a chance at solo killing this Morphling. If he can break the Lincolns with the Force Staff and Orchid drop that full rotation, maybe he can do it, especially with somebody nearby. But yeah, you need an ability that can just pop that Lincolns real fast. Now, there was a smoke from MiTH Trust up top. Of course, it was unsuccessful as Titan were stationed about the bottom portion of the map. They will pressure the Tier 1 tower in the mid lane. They won't have enough to finish it off. There is a wraparound coming here, and the gank will start. Lion, the target of choice. Dust comes out. EMP flies. Lion the first to go down, but the Radiant side not out of the clear yet. The mech has been popped. Compliments of that Death Prophet. And they actually find a kill on Rubik as well.
Morphling got that kill. That was more or less on his own. So
yeah, it was sort of off to the side there. So a 2-for-0 exchange. MiTH Trust find a nice pickoff or a series of pickoffs in the mid lane. And now this Tier 1 will take some pressure. There's the Exorcism. They do have Rasta wards, but not enough mana. So
that was good for MiTH Trust because they TP'd a couple in. They had a couple come from behind. Yamate playing very aggressive. Not sure why he's so far forward here. He may go down. The Carapace from the Nyx Assassin got an extra hit on him. Lakel's not going to keep up.
Wow, 9 hit points on the Invoker.
Wow.
I guess Yamate knows his limits there. But
I think he lost control of his hero because he was casting the spells and then stood still.
Yeah, maybe he had a little lag spike or something there. It was odd positioning, very atypical of that. We were just talking about how conservative Yamate is, and that was the opposite of Invoker conservatism right there. But while that was happening, Anti-Mage did push the bottom Tier 1 tower and got the last hit on the tower. So even though they lost their 2 supports in the mid and their tower, they still found a positive. Anti-Mage topping the net worth chart just a few hundred gold ahead of the
That's the
Morphling.
first time this game, too, Anti-Mage has been on top. Which, I mean, it sounds like one of those things where they pretty much been neck and neck all game. Like at one point, maybe Morphling was about 500-600 ahead, but it goes to show that Anti-Mage is flash farming better. Bottom lane, though.
Yep, Morphling.
He got the Morph Strength off, though. That Lincoln just gives you that half a second to react, but unfortunately, you can morph so many strength, but with a Lion Finger of Death, you will be brought down.
Yeah. On top, an Orchid on top of the Invoker, and then the Finger to finish you off. It's just a bit too much. So Titan find kill on the position 1 of MiTH, and that pushes Anti-Mage a bit further in the league. Gold graph moving all over the place, but Titan still just kind of holding steady. 3,000 gold, 5,000 experience. Not running away with the game quite yet, but still in a fabulous position considering we're only 20 minutes in.
I think Anti-Mage is just getting really big. He's got so much space. Whenever MiTH Trust are winning fights or taking kills, they're bringing the Morphling in, which I think is fine, but Anti-Mage finds another big stack, so he's going to be well on his way to that max ultimate, level 16, not to mention Manta Style being completed is going to give him a huge boost in his damage output.
Yeah, that's really the big problem here. There's just nothing slowing down this Anti-Mage. We'll hold that thought, though, in the mid lane. Initiation onto Yamate. They do have a Sentry Ward down, but it won't be enough to keep him alive. Or will it? Oh, boy, every time I think Yamate is about to die, he scoots back with that Force Staff. They'll turn it around, make it a 1-for-0 the other way as they finish off the Sand King. Great teamwork as he Force Staffs back to safety, pops those wand charges, and just showing us the power of the Quaswex Invoker right there.
Yeah, and again, Anti-Mage is not even there. He's just off on his own, doing his thing, split pushing lanes. He'll force Morphling to rotate here, but Morphling's now a good 2 levels behind of him. Gets a Replicate out, which will push Anti-Mage back, but Anti-Mage still just has 1 point in Mana Break, and it's partly because of these Replicates. He doesn't want to give Morphling a Replicate that has a ton of Mana Break, but even if he does later in the game, Mana Burn from Lion is an insta-KO for Anti-Mage Illusion, so it's not like Morphling can even use these Anti-Mage Replicates in a team fight.
Yeah, and that's one of those, as the game goes on, it'll become less of an issue with that Mana Burn. Right now, it's a couple of those shots can really cripple some of the supports, but oh, Shadow Shaman, he'll be in some trouble. He does manage to get the Hex off, but the Orchid comes out as well as the Cold Snap, and yeah, the Shadow Burn will be enough to finish him off, but Yamate, he may pay for this one, and yes, he will. Morphling comes wave forming in, secures that kill, and will we see another fight break out here?
It was a track kill at least, it looks like, because track was on cooldown. So I think they got the track on the Shadow Shaman.
Oh no, they were trying to sneak a Roche. KYXY, he'll get punished, he'll get picked off, and now MiTH Trust, they'll find themselves a free Roche. Or will they? Titan still in the pit, looking to snatch the Aegis. No, Morphling will grab it. Radiant also grabbed the last hit. Exorcism flies, and now where's this fight going to go? Invisible Rubik right now. He did steal Vendetta once again. And Morphling will finish off Lion. So a bit of a disaster for Titan right there.
That was Yamate being way too aggressive on the high ground. He should have just hung back, wait till Roshan, protect the Roshan. That was the big thing there. They have Anti-Mage going for Roshan. You don't get aggressive and put yourself in a position where you can get picked off as the one hero who needs to be alive to protect Roshan. Tornado EMP was going to be what deterred MiTH Trust from contesting that Roshan. Yamate makes a bit of a mistake there getting caught out, and that gives MiTH Trust Roshan, Aegis, tier 2 tower as well as
Dire's middle
multiple
tower
kills. That
has
was,
fallen.
until that point, Titan were in control of this game, but that was a huge turning point for MiTH Trust in this game. Now they even have an Ethereal Blade on your Morphling.
Yeah, you can even see it reflected pretty clearly in the gold graph there. Still.
Oh, the shotgun mid.
Oh, God.
Oh, Yamete
Oops.
gets blown up from
My bad.
full HP.
Wow.
Morphling just waved in and shotgun.
That's the power of a
adapted.
surprise
Yeah.
E-Blade right there. Even caught me by surprise. But yeah, huge burst of momentum that you really see it reflected on the graphs. And Titan's still not out of it, but now we've got a game on our hands, gods. It looked like Titan was going to run away with it, but
Yeah.
the story of the Inaugural, back and forth every game.
Oh. With Morphling, he's a bit low on mana. This mid lane does have an Ethereal and as well as an Adaptive Strike, but not much beyond that. And
Yeah.
this game, I'd say at this point, is kind of 50-50. Like after that turnaround, no longer do I feel Titan have any sort of an edge. Net once again going to deal with replicates. This mana drain really coming in use, and Morphling's gonna have to entirely rely on his own hero. There's no replicate anti-mage to help your team out this game.
Yeah, the Manta recipe on the way to Anti-Mage, so he'll have that next big item complete. And I believe, yep, there's a Blink Dagger up on the Nyx now, who's also got a gem. And their Sand King picked up a Blink Dagger. He's only level 9, that level 1 Epicenter. Still not too scary, but having a Blink is always good on that hero. So following that Roche and those kills, MiTH have found some core items that will certainly help them in these next few team fights. What is Death Prophet working on here? She picked up drums after the mech, and
yeah, mech drums,
much
probably
else.
a Yule Scepter, maybe
Dire's top
want some more
tower
actual
is
raw
under
HP.
attack.
oh yeah,
I
she's
think
got
those-
herself a Void Stone, so it looks like it will probably
Okay,
be a
Yule
Yule's.
Scepter. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Pretty
yeah.
standard. I really like that item on Death Prophet.
Yep. And at this point,
Dire's
MiTH Trust will just
top
take all these
tower
other
has
towers. Like,
fallen.
they may even go high ground if they really want to.
Mm.
Because fighting into a Morphling with Aegis Shotgun is really tricky to do. He's gone more or less full
Radiant's bottom
agility,
tower is under
minus a
attack.
few points, and they're going to go high ground with the
Dire's top
Exorcism.
tower
Yeah,
is
no
under
glyph
attack.
available for Titan. This will not be an easy defense. Anti-Mage is not with him here. He is down in the bottom, just pressuring that tier 2. And, oh, God, Invoker just gets obliterated by the shotgun. Nothing he can do about it. Tier 3 tower will fall. Plenty of
Dire's
time
top
still left on
tower has
Exorcism.
Gem
fallen.
gets stolen, and that's Titan's gem now in the hands of
Dire's
MiTH
top
Trust. So
barracks are under attack.
I think this is Rakta's, and
Radiant's
that
bottom
one
tower
Roshan
is
mistake
under
may have
attack.
just lost Titan the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Dire's top
Impale
barracks
forward
has
from the
fallen.
Nyx Assassin will connect onto the
Dire's
Lion.
top barracks are
And,
under
oh,
attack.
Lion hops forward. That'll be a dead
Radiant's
Nyx as he
bottom
gets off the
tower is
finger.
under attack.
And Ranged Barracks still alive.
There's a
Meanwhile,
replicate.
down bottom. Oop. Yeah, there's the replicate.
Radiant's
Meanwhile, down
middle
bottom,
tower
how much
has
damage did
fallen.
KYXY do?
No.
Only a little bit to that tier 3, but did take out the tier 2 tower. So at least finding a positive there. One of those, if he had come back earlier, I don't know that he could have done too much anyhow.
No,
so.
he can't fight into the Morphling.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the crowd control that MiTH Trust have with 3 heroes with good lockdown, Death Prophet with a silence, Morphling with burst damage. So I don't think there's any way for Antimate to help out, and he probably goes for a BKB next, just because he's going to realize this game they can't split push. They're going to have to defend these pushes, and to do so he needs a BKB. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be his next item pickup.
Well, MiTH Trust taking control of this game a little bit, but still far from over, I think. 1 melee racks down. It's helpful, but everything's just about evened out, and I think Titan are still within a pretty good chance here. And Boker just needs to survive. He needs to not get shotgunned and find some way to sit back, and that Ethereal Blade has just been crippling Yamete since it came out. 5-man smoke from MiTH Trust in the mid. Looks like we could see another engagement break out here, gods. Aegis still in the inventory of that Morphling, and they'll just go straight up the mid lane here. We see on the minimap they want to do a wraparound. KYXY, he'll be on the high ground. He'll reveal the smoke. Manta used already. Track out on the Shadow Shaman. Here we go. Up to the high ground. Ohio, he'll be silenced up, as will the Sand King. Lion's going to be the first to fall. Sand King will go down second. That'll make it a 1-for-1. Shadow Shaman, very low.
Gets brought down by Yamete from the low ground here. This Morphling Replicate still hasn't been dealt with. The Lion dead for once. There will be an Anti-Mage Replicate in these fights. It's trying to chase Anti-Mage around, but a 2-for-1 exchange so far, and Death Prophet did use the Exorcism and also to TP home. So this is the end of any sort of a push from MiTH Trust, not to mention the Aegis going to expire soon on the Morphling. So that's what Titan have been waiting for. If there wasn't an Aegis on this Morphling, they probably can defend top Raktas, they can take fights, because they can actually go on the Morphling, rather than have Morphling just stand in the front grounds playing hyper-aggressive. If you go on him, you lose the fight because he's got Aegis. So this Aegis timing out is a huge sigh of relief for Titan.
Yeah, and just a good exchange overall. That was a 2-for-1 Lion for the 2 supports of MiTH Trust. So they lost their Sand King and the Shadow Shaman. So could have been a lot worse right there. They find a good exchange, and like you said, it's more about buying time, forcing those cooldowns, and if you can force that Death Prophet or Rasta to use their ultimate not near your structures, that's usually a good sign as long as you don't get completely wiped up. So if you have a break-even or a slight advantage after a team fight where they burn those big cooldowns, you're buying yourself time for your anti-mage to get bigger and better. Smoke coming in, they will bump into the Nyx Assassin. Ghost Walk
He knows
on.
they're there.
They don't have detection. And there we go. Sentries come down on both sides of the coin. Morphling, waveforming forward. Yamate, he gets dropped. Now they're coming in. Epicenter doing a little bit of damage here. KYXY, he gets stuck in the shackles. He'll be defensively. He'll survive, but unable to do much damage. And Extinct will blink back as well. So this fight will end as just a 1-0.
Bounty Hunter's getting chased down here.
Wait,
They've got gem vision of him, so Ohio, I think, is dead here. Gonna try suicide. No, not gonna happen.
Burn a dust as well, but yeah, right. Make it a 2-0. And meanwhile, Morphling.
Can they burst him down here? They know he's alone. They will do so. That was as the Aegis expired. That's a huge pickoff. Really smart play from Titan. Extinct says, thanks for the morph strength. I'm going full strength, baby. 0 armor, but he's got 1500 HP now.
Anti-Mage, he gets interrupted here, does get silenced. Manta, straight away, that'll break it, and he'll be just fine. But does actually waste a TP scroll, and here we go. Exorcism from Death Prophet.
To the tower. No Morphling here. They're going to kill off Extinct. Oh!
Wow.
Okay, they steal the gem back. That's worth the kill for the gem. Not to mention a tier 2 tower. There's no way they can go tier 3 high ground without Morphling, but they'll back off quite happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. But BKB out for the anti-mage now, so he is getting a little bit scarier, a little tankier as well. Rasta will find himself a Blink Dagger, so even more initiation power for MiTH Trust. Roshan, we'll see how long the spawn is, but still on that initial timer before the RNG kicks in. I think next Roche will be very telling of this game, though. If MiTH Trust get the next Roche, it's going to be very difficult for Titan to defend. Like you mentioned, that shotgun Morphling is pretty darn scary when he's got a second life. If Titan can secure the next Roche, I think they may have a chance to continue turning the tides here. Anti-Mage is starting to pick up some momentum over that Morphling, about 3,000 gold up on him, following that last little skirmish.
Yeah, Anti-Mage still, though, is not like a super late game carry. When he gets his next big items, probably where he's about to begin to start reaching his peak of his power. I think he wants the heart here, not the butterfly. He doesn't really need the evasion. He doesn't really need the bash either. I think just raw HP to stay alive against the magic damage and just general lockdown. So yeah, we'll see what it will be. But
even against the Death Prophet as well, because the BKB obviously doesn't do much or anything against the Exorcism. So just going survivability and being able to, get up in Death Prophet's face, have the HP buffer to tank the Exorcism for a little bit, I think is probably going to be the way to go here.
Both teams now waiting for it. I think if MiTH Trust get the next Aegis, they win the game. That's my prediction.
I think so as well. If Titan get it, it's not that Titan will win, but they'll at least have a chance to stay in it, and Yamate just gets completely obliterated once again.
Ever since his shotgun got picked up, he's died. Like anytime he pokes us out of the base. He's died 5 times this game, and I think 4 of those have been since the shotgun's been picked up.
Yeah, and Roche, it'll be pretty quick.
I don't know how Titan stop Roche as well. Like whenever, we just saw, this Invoker has a rough time when he leaves the base, and once MiTH Trust get wards up around the Roshan pit, they can control. They're going to push high ground without Aegis as well. Like they say, who needs Aegis for this? Oh, net. He blinked in. I think looking for Lakel's. Lakel's managed at the perfect time, and KYXY, he gets shackled up. He forces the BKB, but that's just to blink out defensively. He didn't get the BKB off in time, and now MiTH Trust on the high ground with the Exorcism. Everyone on full HP. This is Raxus. This is just straight up GG, I think, too.
Yeah. Oh, Extinct. He'll just get obliterated. Glyph comes out, and it'll expire. Now the Rax will take heavy damage. Ohio, he'll get sheeped up by the Blink Shadow Shaman. There are the shackles, and just own it. The announcer said it right. Big Mana Void indeed, but will it be enough? KYXY gets silenced up, just landing the right clicks. They'll finish off the Morphling as well. Death Prophet gets picked off. It'll be a full 5-man wipe here, guys. They lose mid lane of Rax and the top lane, but they completely clean up MiTH Trust. They can secure this Roche.
That was a big Mana Void from KYXY. Gets the double kill. They team wipe that, so they lose Raxus still. So end of the day, it's still, I would say, a good trade for MiTH Trust, but Titan still in this game. With the team wipe and with Roshan supposedly picked up by themselves, this is still a possibility that Titan can turn this game around. But end of the day, they're still down 2 lanes of Raxus, 4 Raxus in total. They'll have an Aegis. I think you almost just give this to Yamate. I think KYXY, he's not really dying. He stays alive long enough in these fights regardless. So I think Yamate is going to maybe be the one who takes the Aegis here. And he sells his wand, so.
I think so. Yeah, I think that just makes so much sense. He's working towards a BKB.
Yeah.
He just has to survive.
If he can farm a BKB, These next fights still up in the air. Problem is, for Titan to win this game, they're going to have to win multiple fights, push out lanes. There's still tier 2 towers up on the map, so they've got a long way to go to win this game.
Yeah, and there's very little stopping MiTH Trust. They have such a... or stopping them from just kind of knocking down that last lane of racks. They have so much pushing power with the wards and the exorcism. They can, if they have to, just get some necrobooks up and kind of just suicide into this last lane of racks. Do that rotation when the glyph is down. It's hard to stop all those ultimates from doing damage. Even if you can win the team fight after all, they're at that point where you have to limit the amount of damage that comes out to your structures, which means Titan has to be the aggressors. They have to take fights outside of their base. They just simply can't fight in their bottom lane.
Yeah, well, we'll see what... yeah, Titan, as you say, they're really staying far up on the map, knowing that they do not want to give MiTH Trust a chance to go high ground. Even if Titan can wipe them, if they lose a tier 3 tower, if they lose any part of these Raxes,
it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Every time MiTH Trust just get a little bit more. So they'll make sure they're fighting outside their base. KYX up to 5k gold. At this stage, I don't think you're thinking about saving for buybacks. I think you just want to buy whatever big item that's going to be.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, he's got no space unless he drops a TP scroll, and if he's split pushing, he does need that TP home.
And this is where BOTs will probably come in handy for him here. But one of these games where it's handy having an anti-mage because of that Battle Fury, he clears waves very quickly. So pushing out the lanes is no problem for the anti-mage, and that does make things a little bit easier for Titan here than it would if they didn't have an anti-mage or somebody with a Battle Fury. In the mid, Extinct, he was sandstorming it up, but it may cost him, or maybe not. Perhaps he'll turn it around. EMP goes off, almost enough to secure the kill on the Sand King. He'll go down. Nyx Assassin falls shortly after. Defensive Yules comes out on the Death Prophet. And will they have enough to chase her down? Maybe they will. BKB out onto the DK, or pardon me, onto the AM, and it will expire.
A higher surviving on like 50 HP from the shotgun. That was important there because he got a couple extra tracks off, and that track money will start adding up. That's 3 heroes on the sidelines. Probably just a tier 2 tower here from Titan in the mid lane, but
still, that's a 3-0. I mean, this is the team that just a few minutes ago looked like they were about to lose the game, and they're slowly but surely turning it around. Rubik actually stealing the exorcism as well. That threw me off a little in that fight. But
I see ghosts flying around.
Yeah,
everywhere.
too many ghosts. It's hard to tell who they're circling around when it's kind of a double whammy.
And this is a Rubik with 68 strength. He morphed all his earlier agility into strength. He's got some now from his agility game, but it's a very tanky Rubik.
Yes, that's for damn sure. So they will force out the glyph here. All these heroes have respawned. No buybacks being used by MiTH Trust, and they'll actually make a defense on this tower. The tier 2 doesn't even fall, but still, Titan, if they can continue to do that, find those good exchange, pick on those supports a little bit, and get this anti-mage huge, they can still turn this game around. AM did buy something. He's down to 3,300 gold, and it looks like he will be going a Butterfly. That's a Talisman of Evasion and Quarterstaff on the Courier, and a Yule's coming out onto Extinct.
I think he's just going to buy the full thing now. I don't think there's any safe for buybacks kind of play, and MiTH Trust, they realize they need to move on out of the map, and BKB also on Bounty Hunter, so he barely stayed alive that fight. This time around he'll have a BKB, so it's a lot easier to stay alive. Rubik gets a Yule Scepter, so everyone on Titan has some way kind of to avoid getting shotgun down, apart from the Lion, but Lion's always positioned really far back, except for when Neck goes for those big initiations. Top lane though, BKB forced out from the Ant Range, that'll push him back. Oh, that Courier, if that Courier died with his Butterfly on it, would have been quite troublesome, but he manages to get it to himself.
Gem on the Courier as well, so he has no buyback here. Anti-Mage, following in the footsteps of what you were talking about, his BKB will be on cooldown for another 50 seconds, and that's what's really scary right here. MiTH Trust know it, and they will pull a rotation down to the bottom lane. This will be a rough defense. Rost awards available, so is the Exorcism. Death Prophet also just now hitting level 16, so getting those extra spirits out on the field. Glyph is available for the Dire, but it won't do much to delay this push if they can't win the team fight.
Rubik wants to try to steal these Surf Mords when they get dropped. DNK drops them. No spell still coming just yet. It looks like there's going to be a line off into the side. He's trying to get Gobjibi. Instead, he's going to burst down the Death Prophet. No more Exorcism to deal with. And he's stolen the Ghost. He's still got them flying around. This is the Rubik Exorcism. Zanking Epicenter from the trees. He blinks in, doing a bit of damage here. It's going to be KYXO without that BKB in some trouble, but he's so tanky. He just blinks himself out of there. They've only lost a Lion so far. They're looking for more Bounty Hunters low. Can track again in a second. Boombell gets tracked up. No Burrow, well, can Burrow Strike, but there's no hiding for you. And 4-for-1 trade. Nyx Assassin the only survivor. What a team fight from Titan. They're barely holding on, but boy, are they holding on in a big way.
Tier 4 is taking damage, but like you said, a beautiful team fight. They finish off the Death Prophet so quickly in that fight. She has a Bloodstone, will respawn very quickly, but already down to only 5 charges. This Rubik, he's been the big playmaker, though. That Exorcism has just more than come in handy. That really helped turn the tide in that fight, and they will lose one of their tier 4s. They'll be forced to deny it here, or no, they'll leave it standing. Okay.
Yeah, I thought Riven would go for the Serpent Ward still, because that, Shadow Shaman's just going to walk up, plop the wards down, and it was pretty much a guaranteed steal if he wanted to, but that would have meant no Exorcism, unless he like pre-cast the Exorcism and then still Serpent Wards. Yeah. Which could have maybe worked, because the Exorcism lasts for a long time, but either way, he wants to make sure he had the Exorcism, and he's still got that for another... Okay, he's going to have to get a new spell. The spell steel's going to expire before it comes off cooldown, so... Is
there a timer where you can see how long he has it, or do you just remember when you picked it up?
Yeah. No, you can see the little bar on the outside on the tooltip.
Oh, this like up here has a stolen spell. Ah, okay, so it's about to...
It's quite hard to notice. It doesn't give you like exact time.
Shouldn't I have a little... I wish I had a little countdown timer or something just so you could see clearly.
You put like a number on top of the tooltip almost.
Yeah, but okay, I see what you mean with the tooltip there. And KYXY in the mid.
Steals Carapace. That's perfectly happy. There's so many good spells Rubik to steal.
Oh boy, Nyx Assassin. He'll get destroyed. He'll actually buy back straight away.
BKB used, so I think Titan back off here. They don't want to overstay their welcome, especially with the BKB on cooldown.
Yep. And they'll finish off the tower. Aegis will get reclaimed here in just a moment, but KYXY.
Yeah. Oh, Yamate wasn't even at the fight. So they get a pick off for a BKB, and I'm sure BKB cooldown sounds like a bad idea, but it's... He can rebuy this BKB is the other thing. With
Nyx's buyback on cooldown, if they can kill him again, that will make things a lot easier in these upcoming fights. Smoke, Lakel's, he's in trouble. They'll pop forward. That'll be a dead Sandcake, a dead Morphling as well. This is the opportunity Titan have been waiting for. They'll press forward, and this is bad news bears for MiTH Trust. A blink back from the Nyx just in the nick of time, but Shadow Shaman won't be so lucky. That is a 3-for-0 exchange. Unstoppable streak for the anti-mage. And it looks like Titan, they have a serious chance here, Gods. Too bad they don't have a wave of creeps with them.
There is a Morphling, there's no wave of creeps, there's a Morphling buyback. They're trying to get the creep wave there. Highest could push this one out from way far back.
They're still a ways away from securing the win here, but like you said before, to make this happen, they're going to have to win multiple team fights back-to-back, and that's the 3rd team fight they've won in a row.
They're trying to just force the Morphling buyback now. I don't think they're expecting to get Raxus here, but... if there's no Morphling buyback, they maybe get a tier 3 tower, but even if they just force Morphling buyback, chew into his gold coffers, this is going to be a win for them, and we'll see Shadow Shaman and Rasta going to respawn soon. They catch up the Death Prophet. The stun is perfect from Gojibi. Unfortunately, the line's a bit late. There's your Finger of Death. Burst him down. Now Death Prophet on the run. No buyback from your Morphling. He may pay for this one. Epicenter being channeled, but the BKB is there from Yamate. Keeps himself alive. Tornado goes through. Catches out Shadow Shaman. Net's going to start mana draining up. Has an Impale as well. Yamate wants the Shadow Shaman. He'll get him. Where's that Morphling buyback?
He still has it. Why didn't he burn it?
I don't know.
Oh
I don't know why Morphling didn't buy back there, because that fight was not... Titan win that fight without losing anyone, but if Morphling buys back, he gets, I would say, 2 kills out of that.
They have a glyph, too, that they did. They just watched their Rax die with Morphling.
Doing MiTH Trust.
I don't understand.
This was your game. This was their game, and Titan suddenly going to even it up. 4 Rax. Oh, their throne. Look at this. Morphling could have even bought back and tried to pressure the throne here if he wanted to. There's so many things he could have done, but he's going to respawn now, and he goes down again. What? I don't understand. I love you guys, but sometimes you guys are hard to watch.
I really don't. They played this game so well, Gods. It was theirs to throw, and now...
And they did just that.
I mean, it might not be over yet. This tier 2 tower up top will keep their last lane of Rax alive, but it's more than leveled out in terms of Rax, and now Titan have a huge advantage. That's a 20,000 gold, 30,000 experience lead.
They're trying to backdoor this top tier 2 tower. I don't think... This will work. Okay.
Okay, they've got the damage. I mean, KYXY is stacked right now. He has 9,000 gold.
Yeah, that's a big thing here. Even if Titan lose a team fight, they'll have 4 or 5 buybacks. So after all the money from Rax is there, good to go. He gets out of the silence, but does get hex up. KYXY, I think he's okay here. Impel hits out too. Yamate wants to fight. He's got BKB, as does KYXY. Yamate pops his, doesn't use any spells. They're just BKBing and retreating. I'm surprised they retreated from there, but Morphling's looking to chase. I think he just bought back into this fight, and Yamate's completely out of mana. He wants to just TP home as soon as he feels it's safe, and looks like he's going to finally get to safety and just, he'll TP home. Needs his mana, and this throne not exposed yet. There's still 8 T4 tower alive. Titans suddenly are the ones in control of this game. 4 Raxes apiece, so 20k plus gold lead, but I don't think the 20k gold lead's the full story. When it's 4 Raxes each, it's still anyone's game.
Just look at that net worth, though. 32k on the Anti-Mage, now only 19 on the Morphling. That just shows you how much things have changed. Anti-Mage, he'll go ahead and buy a fresh BKB, and I think that's the right call. I was actually going to suggest that is, forget about grabbing a hard or selling that Vlad's. You need a new BKB. That's where it's at right now.
All in. They're going for the throne. I think they say, this is it. We either win the game now or we lose.
And there's also now a Hex up on the Invoker here.
Stuff out.
There is a glyph available for the dire side. First to fall will be Lion. This could be what they're waiting for, but Lakel's, he gets obliterated by the Bounty Hunter. BKB's popped aplenty. Now the Death Prophet on the run. Exorcism stolen once again by the Rubik. That's GG. MiTH Trust can't do it. They'll get cleaned up and repelled. Titan, they do it. Gods, I can't believe it.
What a comeback from Titan. At the same time, like, this was a back and forth game from the get-go. Like, that Roshan fight gave MiTH Trust a set of Raptors, and later on they got another set of Raptors with some great play from Lakel, shotgunning down the Invoker time and time again. But Titan, they were patient, they held out. They finally found the opening they were looking for, and they take the series 2-0. MiTH Trust will be devastated after losing that game, though.
Just wow. I mean, is there anything that we missed as to why that Morphling didn't buy back in that last fight? Is there any reason to save it there? I mean,
I think the call was maybe like, look, just give him bottom Raptors, wait till they respawn or to like overcommit. But his teammates got caught out, and I think the call was Lakel's. He's kind of like the shot caller for the team as well. Was like, look, just don't get caught out. Buy some time. Even if we lose Raptors, it's still 4 Raptors to 2 then.
Right.
So we'll defend the next set. At end of the day though, once the fight broke out, he needed to buy back. And
yeah, there's that. I mean, kind of like how we saw KYXY there. There was that point where he had to make that gamble, where he had all that gold, and it's like, do I save for buyback? No, you need your items now. You have to take a victory right now, because if you die in buyback, what are you going to do? And sort of similar mindset, except the other way, where what are you saving the gold for, man? If you lose the game, having all that gold doesn't really do much for you. It's all about the win. So regardless, talk about an intense game, though. That's one hell of a match to end our day of casting on here,
Extinct played insane on that Rubik, though. He was my MVP.
Oh, for sure.
I think this is one of the few games where I feel Net didn't play that well. He blinked in looking for initiations a few times and got caught without even... Like, there was the one time mid tier 3 where he blinked in, was trying to either Hex Impel the Morphling, but he manted as he blinked in and then didn't cast a spell, so... He
had a couple of whiffs, but Net also had a couple of good fingers as well. He secured a few kills.
But that was always, like, following up his teammates' initiations. Like, his teammates set it up for him.
That's true. That's true.
I think Extinct's kind of the hero of this game. Antimage has 1 death the entire game. Like, you can say KOXY 9-1 and 17, it looks like he played amazing, but that 1 death cost them 4 racks.
That's true.
At the same time, that was more Yamate's fault for when he went aggressive. But still, that 1 death for KYXY was the... what gave MiTH Trust the 4x lead.
Sneaking a Roche. Roche is sitting at about 10%, and that's when Yamate says, I know, I shall charge into their jungle and find a solo kill. He gets turned around on, and then they poke into the Roche pit, and it ends up being a disaster. So, an intense game. But that wraps up our inaugural coverage for today, and there's more inaugural tomorrow. Yes, there is.
I think similar schedule.
Is there some WPC tomorrow? Is that? I think I'm casting WPC tomorrow. I'd have to check this out. I can't keep it straight. I take it one day at a time here. We've got a lot on our plate. So
these 4 teams from today will be playing. This group A is going to go over 3 days, and every day it's 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Singapore time, 2 best-of-3s. So today was the first day of the group stage. So tomorrow, as well as the day after, we'll have the exact same schedule. Just different matchups.
Okay, awesome. Well, that wraps up our coverage today, guys. We'll see you same place, same time tomorrow. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit. If you're interested in checking out the ticket for the in-game coverage of the inaugural, it is only $1 in the store and worth a pickup if you like controlling the camera yourself and if you like supporting BTS. It is a value ticket here. I'm Zyori. With me is Gods. Thank you for joining us, but that's it for today. We'll see y'all tomorrow.